The audio quality of the GoPro was so terrible with the rain hitting the camera that I decided I would do a voice over here. So I've got the GoPro in the waterproof case, and I'm going to head out into the rain, and we're going to take a look at all of the erosion while it's still raining. I tried to step down the hill, but the dirt was so soggy that it started to sink down. I decided not to walk out that direction. Now, walking behind the hill here, there has been quite a lot of this clay silt that has come down the hill, and you can see that it is making a river of moving sand. So need to get that cleaned up. Now, in the back of the house, there's still a lake that needs to be worked on. Definitely need to, who's that guy? Put a shirt on. Now, we're going to walk around the house here towards the driveway to see just how bad this washout is. There's two very wet dogs, and neither of them are happy. It's too bad the audio quality of the GoPro is so poor, but with that waterproof case on, you can't hear a thing. So, I need to clean up all that junk too. Actually, I have cleaned it up. You just don't know that yet. So there is a lot of water that is coming off of the house, and it's puddling up right here next to the meter base, and that definitely is a problem. So, and it's actually one that I have corrected by the time of this editing this video. Now, the back over here has been graded out, but all that silt has filled it back up. So you can see here that the water from the back of the hill and the side hill is puddling up alongside the driveway, which is actually better than going across the driveway like it is right here. So I'm going to take the water that's on the road here and cut a ditch around this rock and bring it to the culvert so that it'll go under the road instead of on the road. There's been quite a lot of water coming down from the drive up above, and for the first 20 minutes or so it was hitting my little wooden trough here and shooting out into the ditch, but as you can see, some of the water has jumped the bank there, and it is now coming onto the road. Hello, water spot on the camera. Now, a lot of this water here is coming from the hill behind us, but you can see all the water coming off of the house. It's pretty significant there. Several gallons a minute. Now, here's a big problem that I've also corrected since this video. I have put a white 4-inch pipe here and buried it so that the water that does come off of the driveway goes into that pipe, and it's not washing out all of this. It is significant flow, so it's nice to have that back in the ditch here. So you can see quite the river going down that ditch, which is going to cause a problem here in just a moment. We lost a lot of gravel here. Luckily, my neighbor was very gracious, and he came back up and fixed the road. But then again, about a day later, it rained like this again, so washed it out a second time. I've got a video coming up where we install a culvert pipe under the road, and it's going to solve a lot of this headache right here. But I do need to work on the ditch here, kind of clean it out, because there's actually riffraff rock under all of that water, and I'm going to try to get it more like a ditch instead of just flat. So as you can see here, a lot of the water is flowing out of the garden spot. So I'm going to put a little ditch around the garden to get this water away from going into the crops, because that would be a sad day to have all of my crops get washed away. Looks like that side of the ditch is full, but not like the middle of the road. So, hey, the bridge is actually a bridge. Now here's what was causing the biggest headache. There's nowhere for the water to go on this side of the road except over the road. So, you know, it's about 1.5 inches deep right there, and all the gravel is gone. So much water went into this grass area that I tried to mow about 2 weeks later, and my mower was still sinking down about 2 inches into the mud. So like I said, there's nowhere for this water to go when it's on this left side of the road except for into the road. And which means there's just water going across the road here, trying to find its way into the ditch. Like I said though, my neighbor had just cleaned out the ditch this morning when this video was shot. Had he not done that, all of that water right there would have been running down the middle of the road. We had a rain about a week before this one that was in the middle of the road, and it was washing out a ditch that was probably about 8 to 10 inches deep in the road. So he came back with his excavator and his bobcat and cleaned things up for us again. Sure is nice to have a neighbor like him. Yeah, right there was where it had channeled out. He used his machine to push back the dirt up here and get a pathway to the creek. So all this water is now able to go straight into the creek. Now with the new culvert pipe that we've installed, all of this water, well, 90% of it, will be in the creek way before this point. So that will definitely reduce the amount of erosion and loss of gravel. Creek sure is up. Normally the creek in the middle of summer runs somewhere around 30 to 40 gallons per minute. But right now, I would say it's pushing, oh gosh, 200 to 300 gallons a minute, easy. Maybe even more than that. I stepped on something in all this. I don't know if it was poison ivy or what, but I had some itches for a good week and a half after doing that. Yeah, I'm going to say that's at least 300 gallons a minute, just to be generous. Let's see. Okay, so down here, the water is actually flowing towards the creek again. So we've kind of hit a the creek is at the lowest point, which makes sense. Now, okay, there's a little hill, so now the water is running back downhill again here, and it's puddling up. And actually, this little bump has been here for years, puddling up the water down there. So after that little bump, this section of the road is usually really good. It doesn't seem to have a lot of water buildup. Now you'll notice where this water is right here. It's off the main road, but sometimes there's so much water in the creek that it jumps the bank, doesn't go into the culvert. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to walk over to the creek just to see how close the water is getting to that culvert. And it's stopped raining for the most part, so it hasn't jumped over right now. But it is certainly flowing really strong down there. Now I'm walking towards the ponds, so we are still on the property. Just walking towards the edge of the property. I wanted to see how much water was flowing out of the little cascading waterfalls up here. This will also give you a chance to see my neighbor's house. I've not really shown his house in a long time. He and his brother have really been working hard to get their landscaping done and to get their garden planted and grass growing. Look at that, incredible. So much water flowing in there. And since all of that's coming off the new hill for our house, it is just dirty water. Lots of silt. So whenever the water is low in the creek, back to that 20 or 30 gallons per minute, the waterfalls here basically stop because there's some leaks underneath, but not today. It's like a 6-inch wall of water falling off of that. Just pouring out pretty good. Okay, so I didn't show much of my neighbor's house, but I guess that's all right. So we're going to walk back up and take a look to see what the flume water looks like. The rain has, for the most part, stopped about 10 minutes ago, and there's still this much water flowing down the road. I'm not exactly sure how many inches we got this day and the following couple of days, but it was, I would say, close to 10. I think this was actually about the time that a hurricane was hitting down south Mississippi area. So we probably just got a lot of the rain from that. You can see all that mud. Now we're going to head over here to the little bridge and take a walk down to the creek to see what the flow rate is on the flume. I've always enjoyed this little spot right here, getting to walk into the woods. I need to work with that section up ahead that I purchased. I've only been up there a couple times. If you've never read my How to Build a Dam story, then I highly recommend it. It's fun. You can find the link in the description to my website where you can get that. I think it's a PDF. It's just a fun little story I wrote, kind of comical. So there's the water. To the right is the spring, and then straight ahead is where it's jumping over the dam for the flume. And it's definitely moving fast. There is a lot of water in that flume. I've actually seen it this high before, where it jumps the banks of the sides of the flume. So like I said, the water there to the right is what's jumping over the dam. So there's a lot of water in this creek. Look at all that. Yeah, there you go. That's the full-size creek splitting into 3 ways there. No telling how much water we got. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I replace the intake of the ram pump with a new design, working much better than that old wooden blue box up there. I'm glad I built this flume. It has given me a lot of enjoyment getting to see it, especially on days like today where it's carrying that much weight to a height of about 7 feet. At least now we know that the ram pump can handle a flood situation. Definitely did not budge during all of this rain. Let's check out the end of the flume where the water is flowing over quite heavily. Now I need to remove the last pieces of this dam because this was fun. Water flowing off that tree. It's just an eyesore seeing all the pieces of the dam here. Look out. I'm trying to be artistic here. It is kind of fun though, getting that close to the water. I need to clean out the rest of that wooden trough. Over half of it is buried under the gravel. So right here is the first thing that I fix. I dig a trench from the end of this water here, go around the rock and to the ditch, and that makes a big difference keeping the water off the road, or at least the upper part of the road. The lower part we fix with that culvert pipe. Well, fast forward a couple of days and it's raining again. It's certainly been a very wet summer. I'm used to last summer where it rained like just a whole lot less than this. Anyway, definitely having some washout issues still. My neighbor was up here shoveling rock out of his way, but this one on this side is definitely washing out. But it's nice to have my neighbor down here with his heavy equipment, because he has really been quick to get things fixed up for us. Just a super nice guy. A bit of a river running over on that side of the road, going off into there. And let's see how things are doing up here. A little out of focus for you, but it's the best I can do here in the car. Tomorrow, if it's not raining, I'm going to come up here with the weed eater and clean up some of this stuff out of the ditch, but seems like the ditch is working like it's supposed to, thankfully. Now let's see how the water's doing up here, where I diverted some of it into, yeah, see there's an issue there. That river across there is coming into here. A lot of it's going down over there, but got to do something about that. It's tearing the road up pretty bad. So what I'm hoping is that I made a little trench up here out of the driveway. You see, I didn't have time to get the other little trough worked on here, so it's just flowing over. Well, some of it's going where it's supposed to go, but half of it's not a good thing. So let me show you how I got the water out of the road up here, out of the driveway, by doing that, flowing really strong. It may be jumping it a little bit there, but that just gets the water from the back hill, and gets it out of the driveway.